Oh, good morning, everybody. We're back. A little NBA action. Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. I'm Dave Loughran at Lafayette_D, joined by Josh Engleman at Josh Engleman. You're watching the Stochastic.com NBA Strategy Show right here on the YouTubes, presented by PrizePicks. How we feeling, brother?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's been a long morning. I got MLB and NBA today. So we got PrizePicks videos out already. I got a lot of contenders to pump out after this. I've had like 8 different kinds of drinks. I've had breakfast. It's been a good morning. I can't lie.
I thought you were eating bagel bites when you came onto the camera. I'm like, geez, dude, you have fallen far in the past couple months.
Dude, if I would have been eating bagel bites, I feel like you would have sent me a meeting invite with like Ben and Adam and stuff. Just have a call, like a talk with me. Like, hey man, been noticing some things. They were stuff. Yeah,
virtual intervention. Yeah,
yeah, but no, Starbucks egg bites.
Look, man, I appreciate you living your life, but the bagel bites at 9:45 in the morning.
If you're gonna eat bagel bites in the morning, it's got to be on the weekend.
Do you think bagel bites are still good?
I know that they're still good.
Well, my thing is a bagel bite can be ruined if it's not cooked long enough, and sometimes people screw that up. Like, you ever you go to someone's house as a kid, they had the bagel bites and the middle isn't fully cooked. Like if you do frozen pizza or any type of that, if it will ruin the entire slice for me if there's a even small cold spot in any of it when it comes to pizza type products.
Well, that blame, the only way you're getting a cold center of a bagel bite is if the mom in this scenario is
a heroin addict.
That helps too. But if she's lazy and doesn't want to put them in the oven, the proper way to make a bagel bite, because the moment you microwave them, that's when you're going to end up with a temperature gradient of like 200 degrees across bagel bites.
It's a totally different product too, because it's gooey and mushy and everything. If you put them in the oven or a toast, I had a buddy, family would do it in a toaster oven, right? Before the air fryer. Those are the same things.
That's the same product.
What's that?
An oven and a toaster oven are the same product.
Right. But I'm saying like a convection oven is quicker.
Yes.
Yeah. But they get that crisp. Oh man. Little golden brown to the top. Yep. That was the way it had to be done.
Toppings?
What's that?
To me, it's pepperoni only. Combination, maybe.
It was those little tiny like nuggets of pepperoni on those, right?
Yeah, they look like rabbit shit almost.
Yeah.
Red.
or like food pellets for a gerbil.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah,
that works too. I always got to feed my gerbil, you know.
Einsteinium said, "I'm here for the conversation you guys couldn't finish in the baseball show." And probably my favorite comment, Ricky Rude said, "I'm excited to see what random topic these guys start off with. The actual DFS talk is just fluff." Nah, we'll get into it. We got a lot to get into. Game 3, Miami Heat tying this one up. They don't go away. I mean, they're an impressive basketball team right now. Getting that road win in Denver really was something to behold. And you know, it came down to the final second, but they got it done. It's funny. Did you see? I think it was Ramona Shelburne asked Eric Spoelstra after the game, and you know what I'm going at, right? If they were trying to let Jokic score, and he basically said, "Hey, idiot, that's not what happened." I mean, in so many words, he basically called her a moron. Now, I get that's not what he was trying to do, and his answer made a lot of sense. And in a way, I get what she was asking with the question. She was basically saying, like, "Hey, you were carved up in game 1. Jamal Murray, all these guys, wide open shots. We saw game 1." I get where she was going with it, but he had such a visceral reaction to that question, man.
He was, it was weird because his response was the response I would have expected if they lost.
Right.
Like, coming off of a win, it was like saltier than I would have expected it to be. I get it though. I mean, I understand where he's coming from in that one. But yeah, and like, you know, he's not that kind of guy to the media. Momo's not that kind of person in the media. So, but it did look weird just on the surface.
How you feeling about today's slate, today's game? Game
3? Awful. I hate it. I'm not comfortable with this one. I don't got a great feel for this series right now. I just didn't think Miami was going to win game 2. And at which point I would have been firmly in the Miami camp. Now, I think this is a real swing game. Like, I don't know what I like. Nuggets are slight favorites in Miami, which continues to just really become a thorn in my side. This is a coin flip game that has so much weight and leverage attached to it. And I don't necessarily have a great feel of like who steps up.
Wow. Wow, Josh.
Look, 2-point line, man. That's a coin flip as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, but coming from you, coming from Josh Engleman, game 3 of the 5. So I guess what you're saying, and you kind of alluded to it, is that Miami game 2 truly did move the needle in your mind.
It's not so much that, it's that we fly blind for this game. Like game 4, I think is like when we get onto a show, it's just be like, oh yeah, like I like this, and this, and it's not going to be all, well, Tyler Hero will complicate that, but you know what I mean? For this one, it's like, oh, does Denver make the changes that they need to make off of the game 2 script and come out looking better? Because usually it's the losing team that has like the prompt of,
yep,
you know, like backs against the wall type thing. But we're also on our way to Miami. Does Miami get the boost from being at home? We're getting a 6-point difference in line. There's just a lot of like conflating factors for today's game that I find really tough to sift through. This is very much like a games game, one where I don't have a lean. I just got to sit back, watch it, and like try to take something away from it. It might be my favorite game of the series other than a game 7. Like this, Denver gets up 2-1, steals home court back. A lot of people are going to be like, this shit is over now.
But if Miami wins this game, oh my God.
It becomes wild.
That gets nuts.
Yeah.
Because then, if Miami were to go up 2-1 and then Denver, presumably wins game 4. I don't see Denver losing both in Miami. But let's say Denver presumably wins game 4. And then you go back to Denver with a 2-2 series, back to Miami. You could be looking at 7. I do think Miami desperately needs to win this game, though. This is just one man's opinion. I think this game, I was going to say, is massive for Miami, but obviously. But it's bigger for Miami than it is for Denver. Denver, if it were to go to 7, still gets home court advantage, where outside of that game 2, they've been absolutely dominant all year and all postseason. They are the more talented overall team. But if Miami gets this win and goes ahead, now you're in the, I won't say you're in the driver's seat, but you're in a spot where nobody expected you to be.
No, it becomes, there's so much pressure in this game on both sides. It's fun. I love the playoffs. I love the finals.
Dave B said, does the Denver loss hurt their psyche? No. I mean, no. But it is the first time in any series that I think we've looked and gone, oh, okay. That's against Phoenix, was it ever really a question?
No, I mean, not really. Look, Denver is outscoring teams in the playoffs by 8.5 points. That's their point differential for this series, or for the entire playoffs. The next closest team is Boston at 3. Miami is at 2.8. So even losing that game, the Denver Nuggets have been on a completely different level than every other team that's been in the playoffs. Is game 2 just a blip? Maybe. But one of these teams has been dominant throughout the playoffs. That is the Denver Nuggets. That's not to short sell Miami. Miami's 3rd, but 8.5 to 2.5 is a pretty sizable gap when you've played 17 or 22 basketball games at this point.
Yep. Jacob producing today's show said that was their first loss since May 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nuts.
And when I say was Phoenix ever in question, I know you could be like, yeah, but it went 6. To me, it didn't really matter. No. Denver was winning that series. I honestly thought the Lakers series would be closer than the Phoenix series, and they swept the Lakers. So, yeah. Ready to get into this?
I am. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. We could play Jimmy Butler again, which is fun.
Yeah, and you're seeing that reflected in ownership as well, right? Second highest owned player on the slate now, second highest captain ownership on the slate, whereas Bam actually had a lot of captain ownership last 2 games. This one, we got him at 10.9. Do we have any update? I don't think we need one since we updated yesterday, but let me just make sure nothing's changed.
I just grabbed it from I grabbed that one from last night. I think that's the same thing.
Oh no, it's not. Butler's ownership has come down a little bit as far as overall total ownership is. Okay.
Obviously, we snuck that one in the final 5 minutes before we started.
Yeah, I had no idea. And Bam Adebayo's captain ownership actually has come up again. All right, we'll start with Nikola Jokic. His price is up even further than it was last game. If you're playing him at captain, you're paying a lot, but here he is. 41 actual points, only 4 assists last game, which was kind of where that whole post-game question came from. Yeah. And then Kevin Love's price essentially not moving. I'm not necessarily sure I understand that one, Josh.
It makes no sense at all.
I just had 2,000 to 2,400.
Yeah, it's look, you got excuse me, you got the best case scenario out of Kevin Love. He played a little bit more than you would, or at least he basically played like the ceiling of what you would realistically expect. I thought that they should have done that shit in game 1. I played 60-something% of Kevin Love in game 1. It didn't work. And then that's exactly the move they make in game 2. And it, makes everybody look like a genius. You got to play Kevin Love today. It's insane. It's truly insane. There's no value add. I can't give you my thoughts. Very clearly, Kevin Love is going to start today. At the least, he's going to play 12 minutes. You're going to get 6 in the first quarter, 6 in the third quarter. I think he's going to play up to, 22 minutes today. But even if you just want to project him at 12 minutes, 2,400 is a salary where you're just like, okay, well, that's the value play if I have to play $15,200 Nikola Jokic.
The problem is how many Jokic lineups are going to have Love? I'm obviously not being like, oh yeah, this percent, but how many Jokic lineups are going to have Kevin Love today? Because here, think about this, right? If you're looking at just cumulative ownership on these guys, whether a captain and utility, you have Jokic at the top by far, not even close. Mm-hmm. And then you have Kevin Love. Kevin Love also pulling 10% captain ownership. So that's going to play a big role in this one. Yeah. But that also, last game we were talking a lot less than that. What, half of that? I think, what was he, around 5% captain?
I think so. He ended up being like twice as owned as we were projecting. He was like 30-something% owned last week.
Yeah, that was a weird one on Kevin Love for sure. Yeah. But point being, go down, keep going down, looking for other discounted players, like cheap players in the rotation, such as Kevin Love, assuming he starts again. I don't see why he wouldn't. No, it's Cody Zeller at $1,000. What are the chances Cody Zeller doesn't play today? He was minus 14 in 8 minutes. And if you look at the game flow, each time he came out there, he just got here's the only thing I think you could see. I think you could see Spoelstra match Bam up with Jokic for every minute in this game. Yeah,
that's sort of the goal just in general, and will be the goal moving forward. I don't know what they do though. Like if they're starting Love to not play, like they got to get really creative then with not playing Zeller if they want to go just fully small. I'd be trying Kevin Love if you're willing to go to Zeller, I would rather just go to Kevin Love as my backup 5.
That's what I was thinking. Like, do you think there's a?
They're not. I don't think they're doing that at all.
Right, because that means 20. That means close to 30 minutes from Love.
Well, not even just that. You got to start thinking about staggering Kevin Love off of a start, and that's where it starts to get really weird. Like, Bam doesn't play the end of the first quarter in most scenarios, but you're already starting Kevin Love. So you're either saying that Kevin Love is playing the entire first quarter, or you're playing him for like 3 minutes, bringing him off for a brief break, and then bringing him back out there. So at the very least, I think Cody Zeller's first half rotation is live. Like, I don't think that's going anywhere unless they just want to go ultra small with whoever you want to call the 5 at that time. Haywood, Highsmith, Jimmy, Caleb Martin, whatever. If they want to go small, maybe in the minutes that like Jeff Green is the 5 or Aaron Gordon's the 5, however we want to qualify that one. But based on the way that they have their rotation set up now, I don't think they're in any position to stagger Love into the center minutes. I think you're just going to get Cody. You're either going to get Cody Zeller for every minute that Bam's not on the floor, or we're going to see Miami zig and they're going to start going small to spread out Denver for the non-Bam.
Maybe, but all I'm saying is the fact that Jokic last game was out there for all 8 minutes that Bam was off and that Zeller was on the floor doesn't seem optimal.
They won.
I understand that.
I agree with you, by the way. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that in a different direction, but it's just like, that's a really hard thing to tweak after being successful, pseudo successful, I guess.
I get it. But in those minutes, it was not successful. That's all I'm saying.
No, not so much.
Like, just looking on Popcorn Machine, just complete cliff dives each time Zeller was out there. And it was Jokic just destroying him.
Which is exactly what you would expect.
Exactly what you would expect. Hey, by the way, hit that thumbs up if you guys haven't done so yet. Take a single second. Let's get over 100 likes on the strategy show today. Yeah. It's game 3 of the NBA Finals. We're having fun. I'm dealing with Canadian forest fire smoke clouding up everything. Really, I went outside yesterday. I was like, okay, where's the fire? But there wasn't one. Well, there is one. It's just 1,000 miles away. It's not good. Bad air quality out there. The sun or the moon, I'm not sure which one. I am honestly not sure which one it was, Josh, at this point.
Not sure the difference between the two.
If you were seeing what I was seeing, you'd have some confusion. I take my 2-year-old daughter out there. She just turned 2 in March. I said, you see the sun?
She probably knew what it was.
She goes, no, that's the moon, Daddy. I was like, no, it's the sun. She's like, it's the moon. And then finally I was like, all right, you're right. It's the moon. And I think she may have actually been right. I'm not sure.
So sad.
Yeah.
So sad for you.
She's pretty smart though. Maybe she'll inherit what I don't have.
Incredible genes from your wife.
Hey, she'll be a good talker though. Be a good smooth talker. That gets you places in life. We all have our assets.
Oh, that's a scary one for her though.
Why?
It's, you know what I mean. That's scarier.
Like to be a good, like smooth talker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to work on. If it works on me, that'll be scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if she can manipulate and if she, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
That'd be scary.
Yeah. That gets
like if she's legitimately dicey. Smooth. I don't want that.
No.
I want her tripping up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, who taught you that? You did.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's soaked into my body.
Yeah. It's crazy out here, right? You haven't gotten any of that in Carolina, right?
No, we keep them out. We keep the smoke out at the border.
It smells like a campfire. You know what's crazy though? Like Jordan Frank had DM'd me. Jordan Frank, our CFO? Is he the CFO?
He is the CFO?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it looks like you live in the the California life out there, because he gets that all the time.
Yeah, California is permanently on fire.
So when I tweeted that picture yesterday of the moon sun, a bunch of California people were like, this is normal summer in California, but it's not normal out here, dude. It's not normal out here.
No, not so much. It's not normal down here either. If I start seeing that shit, I assume Canada's gone.
But yeah, take a second, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 90,000 subs, man. And if you're listening in podcast form or after the fact, you can always leave a comment down below. We know you're out there on podcast. Leave a rating, review, subscribe. We appreciate all you guys for that big time. All right. So usually on this show, when we're doing a showdown slate, we're not just going, okay, what players from Denver do you like? What players from Miami do you like? It doesn't really do anybody much good, you know? It's more interesting to take a look at some of the unique quirks in this slate, such as Kevin Love's price not coming up, such as Nikola Jokic being insanely expensive, but also by far the best player on every slate. What about Jimmy Butler today? Now that he's 3,200 less in the utility than Nikola Jokic, and how feasible is it to make good lineups with Jokic and Butler as well?
I love him. Butler's my second most exposed player now behind Nikola Jokic. We can finally get to him. $3,200 is a reasonable gap, especially if Jamal Murray is 11,400. Now Butler and Murray are separated by $600. We talked about this 2 games ago. We explained exactly how the salaries should look. It took them an extra game. Now we're starting to get it where it needs to be, where Jokic is even higher, Butler drops down to Murray. So we explained this to everybody. You know, everybody that was just like, nope, you play Jimmy. You looked dumb. And now we're in a place where we can play Butler. So yeah, he's in 81% of my stuff right now. I think it's pretty easy to go to Jokic and Butler if you want to. I think there's enough savings out there. It's not fun savings, but I think there's enough out there that you could pretty easily get to a Jokic Butler combo. It's just going to be duped a lot more because the moment you grab those two guys, you are funneling yourself into a very specific construction because there's only so many other ways that you can build out the rest of your salary.
All right. Probably a good time then to discuss what you and I were talking about on MLB Deeper Dive yesterday, where we kind of got into the conversation of, what's the point of using tools, especially for tools in sports that you don't know? And it usually comes back to being able to eliminate that bias that you don't have because you might not know the sports.
Yeah.
Or you do know the sports, but you're able to eliminate that bias, whether it's a player like Gabe Vincent, Nikola Jokic, or Jimmy Butler. What a perfect representation of this then with the Jimmy Butler spot, because the past couple of days we say, listen, you can't play Jimmy Butler. It's no indictment on him as a player. Nobody's disparaging Jimmy Butler as a player, but he's not viable given the price points around him, given the salary constrictions. And now you're saying right here, hey, he is one of the best plays out there. That's why you get 50% off all of our tools, and you should take advantage of it for the week or the month, whatever you want to do, because it's not just NBA. It's not just MLB. It's not just the sports golf, UFC, NASCAR, everything out there, all of the tools you need to be successful. And sometimes the best players don't know the sports. This is a great example of what we were talking about yesterday.
It's so much. Honestly, to me, it's easier to not know the sport so that I don't immediately look at something and think, oh, well, that's wrong. I got to fix it somehow because I don't have player X or Y. Like I'm playing golf this week. I'm locked and loaded for PGA for tomorrow, but I don't look at my golf exposures and think to myself, well, I need to get more of insert the guy's name that I know here, whoever that needs to be, Rory for this week, if we want to say that. It's just like, look, these are the projections. People smarter than me put this stuff together. Best I could do is rely on them. I'm going to move forward and build my lineups using the projections, our ownership, our top golfers tool. Everything that we have is 100% the inputs for what I'm doing in golf today. Well, for technically tomorrow. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't know anything. Basically, any golfer 7K or 8K or below, there's a decent chance I have no idea who that person is. That's why we have the tools. We're saving everybody's time. And I think it's safe to say that 99% of the people that are going to watch our shows have no ability to come up with their own projections that are more accurate than what we're putting out there. Just take the work that we're already doing. I know I can't make better golf projections. I just want to use our stuff. Yeah.
And the top golfer tool, having those simulation tools and the ownership projections, you have to do all of that, but now you don't. Now you don't have to do any of it. Link in the description and in chat, by the way. 50% off any Stochastic premium package, whether it's the week or the month. Jump in on that. And it can be one sport, but it can be every sport as well. I think, Josh, coming up into what many would consider the dog days of summer, for those who, are big NFL or NBA people, there's still going to be a ton of sports out there. I actually think this is one of the best times to do it, opposed to NFL season, because you're getting everything, and then you can dedicate more time to this and learn the tools and learn these sports as well.
Yeah, there's just so much going on, whether it's NBA Showdown, baseball every day, NHL playoffs are finishing up, but that still exists. You get golf Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You get MMA on Saturdays. We've got a pay-per-view coming up this Saturday. Unfortunately, it sucks. What else am I missing? NASCAR. I played the NASCAR Coca-Cola 600 race. We've got content for that, and I was able to go ahead and enter it. We've got so much going on right now. I love it, man. I love it. It allows me to play more DFS, which is exactly what I want to do.
No question. Check it out. Link in the description and in chat. And of course, if you just wanted to check out the MLB lineup generator, that's less than $4.50 for the first week. So just a great deal on that. Building out and generating the best lineups that you're going to get, where you can check ownership, chalky, contrarian, you can set stack types, you can lock players, swap players, and you see what the optimal projection is, save as many as you want, upload them to CSV, optimized for mobile. I won't go on, but it's awesome, and it's less than $4.50. So if you're looking for something a little more cost efficient, budget friendly, That right there is your golden ticket. All right. So,
by the way, it got mentioned in chat by Nigel. We might be like a day away from finding out that North Carolina is approved. Look, we got to that point a year ago or whatever, and it lost by a vote. So I'm not counting my chickens before they're hatched. And it's also a year after that before it's even going to be active. So we're talking like late 2024.
Is that what it would be?
Yeah.
All right, but still, knowing that there's progress is good.
Yes, I agree. The South is not quick about making progress.
No, not at all. Man, Norm Macdonald had a great Dirty Johnny joke with the count your chickens before they hatch on the Howard Stern show. Well, remind me to send that to you after, unless you've
seen it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, when he goes, he's in the war. Oh man, that's one of the best ones out there. But anyway, I digress. If we're talking about Jokic and Butler and Adebayo, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what to do there. You would agree that Bam's still a good captain play again in game 3 and nothing really changes there?
Correct. I have 13% right now, going straight back to it. Bam just continues to be a guy that you're going to play like 60% of. The price doesn't seem to really move. His role is exactly what we need it to be. I don't really have much to say here for Bam. Bam, Jimmy, and Kevin Love, to me, like the ownership is spot on. They should all be like 60% owned. They're all fantastic plays. You got to get to Butler, Bam, and Love.
What about Murray, though? Now that you're seeing a price point that's almost identical to Jimmy Butler.
I don't have a lot today. 11,400. I'm finding it a bit easier to go to Butler. I have Butler projected quite a bit better than Jamal Murray today. Actually, I think being at home is helping out there. 42% ownership coming into Jamal Murray. I have 28%. This is the lowest that I've been on Murray for a while, but that price tag starts to become problematic. Now that you can afford Butler, you're going to 2 of those 3 pay-ups. You got to think about Bam then too. I think Murray starts to look like the odd man out. Not a fun thing, because it's not like he's going to wilt under the pressure of playing a road game.
No, of course not. But it is a tough one. And then just looking at other ownership projections over on Stochastic under NBA, if you're going and looking at ownership projections and you're new and you're just checking it out, go to single game and Showdown slate. That's where you'll get these ownership projections, not main slate. Gabe Vincent, also pretty popular here, not expensive either. So, I'm talking about some of these guys in this range where you have Hero who's out. I don't know if he's going to play in game 4. Apparently he's dealing with discomfort and swelling in that surgically repaired hand. And if that's happening, it seemed that they were confident he'd be back for game 3. That seems a little bit concerning, but you do have this price range of KCP, Gabe Vincent. I'll even throw Aaron Gordon into it at $6,200, $6,600 Caleb Martin. All of those guys within around $1,000 from each other. Gabe Vincent, however, getting a lot more ownership along with Aaron Gordon than the other ones in KCP and like a Bruce Braun down there as well. Do you have any clear preference among this price range?
I mean, I continually get to Aaron Gordon, but I'm only neutral there. I am ultra light on Gabe Vincent. So thank you to Gabe Vincent for winning me the GPP in game 2. I would be very surprised if I have Gabe Vincent winning me GPP in game 3. I have 14% right now. We have him projected for 47% ownership. One of my biggest fades. I'm not getting to KCP really. That 5K range-ish starts to become problematic. I don't really have a guy there that I want to take a big stand on. Like I've got 30% of Lowry, 20-something percent of Strus, right around the field on Duncan Robinson, right around the field on Bruce Brown, right around the field on Aaron Gordon. I think you have to take your stands elsewhere and just sort of work your way through the extra pieces of this series, because no one's like, oh, it's a Kyle Lowry day. Oh, it's a Max Strus day. Oh, it's like those guys, someone in that range is going to be the guy that you needed. Like Max Strus went crazy to start the beginning of game 2. Someone's just going to become the Max Strus version in that range. I don't really like hitching my wagon to anyone specifically because I don't think anybody looks amazing.
What are your thoughts on Caleb Martin, who's getting virtually 0 ownership today, especially given the price point and the minutes that we've seen, a real fall from grace over the first 2 games of this of these finals? shot volume too off the bench was very low last time out. Could he have played more minutes potentially if Strus wasn't on fire? You know, this is one of the questions that we ask ourselves. How much of this is relying on the hot hand for some of these players? I don't know. And Strus on fire. I mean, I think he went like 4 for 4 from 3 to begin and then missed 6 straight.
Yeah, he was definitely he definitely had 4 made threes in the first quarter.
He was 4 for 4 and then he finished 4 for 10, but still.
It didn't really matter. You needed him. I mean, Caleb Martin's getting no ownership. I actually have 10%. We have him at 3.5. I don't mind the idea of getting to Caleb Martin today at no ownership and paying up to be contrarian with him to limit your dupes. Because there's no, like, you wouldn't be surprised if he plays 28 minutes or something like that. You need him to be the outlier performance, but it's one of the few places that you can spend a chunk of salary and I don't want to say guarantee yourself uniqueness, but when you're taking a $6,600 guy that's not owned a lot, by default, the amount of lineups that he's going to be in that are heavily duped, it's going to be minimal because it's just not a construction that people are getting to. His price tag is in a weird spot. So in terms of trying to really limit your duplications in the largest field contest, I think Caleb Martin's a little sneaky, but it's not like I want to go to a lot of him. I think having something in that like 15% range is enough of a sneak for tonight that you can get some pretty big dividends if it works. Actually, let me see. I had Caleb Martin come out of my optimal, 4.5% of the time at the utility spot, slightly more than he's currently owned.
All right. Yeah, it's tough because could Caleb Martin get back to playing 30 plus minutes? I suppose it's possible, right? We've seen Spoelstra do a lot of weird stuff. It's just not the likely outcome here that Caleb Martin comes back into a prominent role, particularly coming off the bench. If Kevin Love's, if Kevin Love out there is actually making a difference.
Yeah, like you're going to get Martin coming onto the floor for Love in the first quarter and the third quarter. But if it's working well, like Caleb Martin could come on for Kevin Love in the middle of the third quarter and never leave the floor again. Like he can play the last 18 minutes of the game. If he's playing well and when he comes in the third quarter, he's very live to never leave the floor again. So that like there is an upside of Caleb Martin playing 30 minutes today and Kevin Love plays 18 at the 4. That's there. And at 3.5% ownership, that becomes an interesting play.
It's just nuts that Spoelstra's willing to close this lineup out with whoever he sees fit, no matter the game.
Yeah, like it's Butler and Bam are never leaving the floor. Everybody else is just like you got to play your way into it.
Exactly. It's always going to be Butler and Bam. But Lowry's closed out several games recently. One of them, I think, alongside Vincent for a stretch there. Yeah. Last game was Butler and Bam. And then you had Kyle Lowry play 16 straight minutes. Caleb Martin played virtually nothing in the first half. And then he played 16 straight to close out the game. And Duncan Robinson played virtually nothing in the first half, played massive minutes to close out the game in the fourth. I'm saying he closed out just because they brought Gabe Vincent back for like a minute at the end of the game, but you get the point here. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the final 16 minutes on an Eric Spoelstra coach team.
Absolutely.
Which makes it very interesting for showdown slates.
It really does. It really, really does. I mean, one guy, like, it's going to be really hard to get to Haywood Highsmith. Why he's $400 more expensive than Kevin Love, I don't totally understand, but like that's not the spot that I'm trying to correct this problem. He's going to have something different. It would really have to happen for him to be out. Like he could very easily just not play.
Jake DeWitt said, would you play Love and Martin together?
Yeah,
you could. Because again, I'm not certain it's mutually exclusive with Love and Martin.
I mean, it mostly is, but Kevin Love's $2,400. Like it's not like there's a lot of better $2,400 options that are out there. You got to really like Jeff Green if you don't,
Yeah. I've just seen Spoelstra go with some weird combos where it wouldn't shut. I mean, I suppose you're probably right that it's mostly mutually exclusive with them because it's unlikely that you're going to see Kevin Love closing a game out. So
that's going to be an injury or something.
Right.
Look, it's Showdown. Everybody can be played together with everybody.
Right.
You don't draw
especially
the
when
line
Kevin
through
Love's
anything.
wildly underpriced.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's going to be, I mean, Duncan Robinson's price at a minimum in game 4. Well, you'll also get the complicating factor if Hero is available to get back for game 4. But yeah, like I have Love projected for a lot more points than Duncan Robinson. He's $1,000 cheaper. Like he's just broken for this particular instance. So you can play him with anything.
I want to get into some top lineups here, what the optimal is right now. Yeah. Also some of the top ranked lineups that we're looking at. Before we do though, I was thinking about this. Looking over the PrizePicks $1 million lineup yesterday, $1 million entry, I should say. He did not, spoiler alert, he did not win $1 million. Also, they're not making this easy. They should not make this easy. It's, you know, like this should be difficult. But Isaac had a shot at $1 million because every day during the NBA playoffs, I guess there's only like a week or 10 days of this left.
Yeah.
Every day in the NBA playoffs, PrizePicks is giving somebody the opportunity to get in on $1 million. So I think it's a window, right, Josh? Like in the morning, I think there's a window for you to enter, because then you have to fill the lineup out by a certain time. They pick somebody that's entered a 6-pick flex play lineup, and I think it's just has to be $5 or more. That's it. And they pick someone every single day to get it. That would be, I was hoping so badly that one of our viewers would have a shot at that, because it would be a phenomenal sweat for all of us.
Dude, if they would have followed my PrizePicks MLB card from yesterday, and that was a thing, they would have been 5 of 5, looking at a 6 of 6 until Julio Rodriguez homered in the top of the 8th in the last thing that you could it was like this, basically the last event. Yeah. So I ended up going 5-1 yesterday, but they would have been staring at $1 million with an inning and a half to go.
Oh my God. So you bounce back from Monday.
Yeah. So now we're 6-6 overall. That's 1-5 to 5-1.
Dude, you'd rather go 6-6 with a 1-5 and a 5-1 than 2 3s and 3s. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Get those shitty ones out of the way. Give me an 0-6, a 1-5. Yeah. I'd much rather get that out of the way than be like, man, I keep going 3-3 on PrizePicks. You know.
So 5-1 biggie yesterday.
Awesome, man. All of Josh's picks too over at the Odd Shopper channel, and I know you got a couple NBA PrizePicks for us today as well. But yeah, Isaac, $1 million entry, went 3-3. It was all baseball. I kind of feel bad for some of these guys that they get, I mean, I don't feel bad for them because they're getting selected for this. And if they had our tools and the Pick'em Pro tool and all that stuff, they'd be in better shape. But not everyone knows about it. I get that. Not everyone understands that we got the Pick'em Pro tool for all of the Pick'em sites, half off for the first month. Now, you know, links in the description. But he went 3-3. Tough day. But it's just a cool thing they're doing. Plus, you sign up with, I'm burying the lead. You sign up, it's with the link in the description with PrizePicks, or the link in the chat. Not only are you getting 100% first match deposit bonus up to $100, because let's be completely honest, you could get that anywhere. You could go onto their site right now and you could get that. All right. That's not anything new. But if you go on the PrizePicks, not using the link, Josh, I can tell you what they're not getting: a free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum, $120 value. All the tools that we talked about earlier in the show that you could get 50% off the normal way. If you're in an eligible PrizePicks state, you're getting all of them for free for the entirety of the month, including the lineup generator, including every tool for every sport, including the premium Discord, all of that free, $120 value. If you're not there yet, and you can be there, and you're in a state that has PrizePicks, you should be doing this, because it is the best deal that we personally have offered right now in order to get a free month.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you hate everything and you've just had the ability to access a lot of information for a month. Like there's no real risk to you in any way here. You're getting the bonus by signing up, 100 on 100 if you can. No cost to you by being associated with us on the back end. You get to peek around, find out what exists, find out what might be there for you. Maybe you don't want a platinum package. Maybe all you need is an MLB package for a particular week, but you learn that after you get in behind the paywall. It's just taking advantage of these deals. It's just such an easy way to build yourself up some value with zero risk whatsoever. You're willing to take the risk of playing in these contests and stuff. This is easier than that and a better payout than anything you'll ever find in DFS.
No question. And I think the benefit too is it's like, okay, you're going to a site like PrizePicks that's actually good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not some dog shit site where you're just doing it to get the free month. You're getting the best of both worlds. 100% first match deposit bonus up to $100. In the description and in chat. Use that so we can track you. Get your free month of Stochastic plus Platinum. All of our tools for every single sport on the site. It's the best you're going to find that we have right now, for sure. All right. Want to get into some lineups here?
Sure.
What is the current optimal? Very curious. Is it going to be Kevin Love at captain or something? What's it going to be?
I've got a 5-1 Heat lineup.
Really?
Kevin Love captain.
Figured.
Nikola Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus.
Damn.
Yeah.
So the only nugget is Jokic.
The only nugget is Jokic. If you're going to do that, that's the one to do.
Is that more a cash game lineup?
That is quite owned. Yes. That is not a lineup that's going to make my 150. I can promise you that.
Some people still play cash games in Showdown.
Those people are really bad at DFS, probably.
Yeah. But Calvin Hobo said that will have 100+ duplicates, LOL, but will definitely min cat. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
you should not, if you hear that lineup, do not play that in the big $25 DraftKings contest.
No. Maybe I should back up and for a second explain optimal. Not you, Calvin. I know you understand, but explain what we're doing here when we're talking about the optimal. This is why we do this. And then we look at Josh's lineups that he's sorting, that he's ranking, and he's like, this optimal, this is the quote unquote optimal, but it's not going to make his lineups for some very specific reasons.
Yeah, by playing this lineup, I would be guaranteeing myself chopping with so many people that I don't believe it's a positive value lineup in that particular contest. It's just going to have too many people arriving at the same conclusion. So I'm trying to get lineups that project very, very similarly to this lineup at gigantically discounted ownership rates. That's really what Showdown is. That's really the goal of what you're doing in a Showdown contest. How can you take a slight discount in projection to take a giant discount in ownership?
Do you still have the model that would show us how often a certain lineup is duped?
Not really right now.
Okay. Because I remember for NFL,
yes and no.
You were showing me that, and it was very helpful. NFL, clearly you don't have to worry about that.
I do and I don't. NBA is a little bit different because of the way that you get funneled to certain things. You have to model it a little bit differently.
Gotcha.
Like in a normal NBA slate on like a short slate, this is just these. You have to account for a couple extra things, and I just don't have that set up right now.
What are your highest ranked lineups then?
Well, let's find out.
Let's do it.
Unfilter here. Somebody that we haven't really talked about today, because I have I have two swing players today that are going to be driving a lot of what I'm doing. Bruce Brown, captain. Nikola Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Jamal Murray, Kevin Love, Christian Braun is something that I have ranked pretty highly. Bruce Brown, to me, is the interesting piece if you are not a believer in Michael Porter Jr. As of right now, we have Michael Porter Jr. projected for 33% ownership. I have 0.
Sorry, Adam sent us a picture of his his license when he was 21, and I told him he looked like Adam Lanza, and I know he's going to take offense to that.
Oh boy! Oh boy! I mean,
go look at it.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm not totally wrong.
There's a lot of sadness in that face.
Yeah, there's some concern. If I saw that, I might be concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely looks like he would not have taken a high school breakup well.
That's a see something, say something right there.
Yeah. There's like don't worry, she's in my trunk.
Yeah. And he just opens the truck.
That looks like the face of someone that would start the Canadian Fires.
That's a good point. Yeah. 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 With just like muttering under his breath. I'll show them. Now they'll learn. Yeah. One of those people that, like his whole goal now is just to teach everybody a lesson who did him wrong.
I'm flying in there now too.
That's
hot.
Can't get him put it on the screen. Yeah, that's a frightening picture. Damn. Anyway, where were we?
Brandon Katz here to let me know I had a terrible take, even though I banked game 2. Goodbye.
What?
Go make a new account again.
The funny thing is though, I'm not getting into this clown. I can't waste my time.
No. We got to talk Michael Porter Jr. because I know you weren't listening to me.
Hold on, I can't. Brandon Katz said the altitude only impacts game 1 of a playoff series, you moron. I can't even use this word. What an imbecile. He was saying before game 1.
I thought you were going.
I was going there, but I won't. He was saying before game 1 that it wouldn't affect game 1.
I definitely said that it would affect game 1, and then the Nuggets went out there and beat the piss out of Miami.
Yeah,
I don't think that I referenced altitude at all in game 2.
Yeah. Oh God. I have to give Brandon Katz credit though, because of all the years I've been doing the shows, of all these years, he's the only person I truly dislike. Yeah. I actually mean that. You've done a lot of shows with me. I'm a pretty cordial person. Only person I truly would just throw into the Canadian forest without a second thought.
I'm with you.
Anyway, Michael Porter Jr.
I have 0.
Really?
0. Yeah. I don't know what happens here, but if he's 33% owned, I'd rather have 0. Could he just go out there and just make shots? Yeah. Like, we're talking about a really elite shooter. If it were just the shooting, I would just be projecting him for a shit ton of minutes and I would happily get to him and it wouldn't be a thing. He did not look good defensively in game 2. And that's one of those spots where if you're just missing shots, Mike Malone is not going to bench you. The whole team is going to be like, keep letting it rip. Keep letting it rip. No one ever talks about shooting for real shooters. But if you're breaking down a little bit defensively, then you just become Bruce Brown today. I gave Michael Porter Jr. 30 minutes. It's not like I'm getting crazy. We have him projected for 37. That is a big time gap right now. I don't have a great feel for it. I like the stance I'm taking for myself. I don't know what that would look like if I had to, create projections for a website. I'm willing to take the chance on Bruce Brown, roll the dice on Bruce Brown as a potential captain option at 2% ownership and get away from the Michael Porter Jr. business. But there is a threat that Michael Porter Jr. comes out and has a Max Strus-like first quarter, and all of a sudden this looks terrible. But he is very live to not play a fourth quarter today if he's getting beat defensively like he did in game 2.
You think so?
Yeah. If you're making defensive mistakes, that is when Mike Malone is going to remove you from the floor. He'll never take him off the floor just for bad shooting. No coach, no smart coach is ever going to take off someone like that. Michael Porter Jr. is an unequivocally exceptional shooter. You want him to keep shooting, and if they're not going in, you live and die by that. You're making mistakes on defense, you're going to park your ass. He's the one guy that might have to park his ass.
And it's funny. It almost seemed like laziness in some of those possessions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to wait. If he does it again, it's tough sledding. And 33% ownership is no joke at 7,400. You need a good day. Porter Jr. needs the minutes. Like, if the shot's falling, he'll get the minutes. Those things are going to come hand in hand for him. But if he's like, 0 for 4 after the first quarter and he gets beat backdoor on like some Kyle Lowry back cut, Bruce Brown might play 30 minutes today. Starts to get a little squirrely there.
Michael Pavlik, $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. Why do I remember that name? Maybe he super chatted us yesterday on Deeper Dive. I can't remember, but thanks, man. Hey, gents, can you please post how to become a YouTube member in the chat or link below? Dude, you didn't need to. I would have just told you, man. But I thank you for the support for sure. Yeah, there should be a join or join or subscribe because I'm. Hold on a second. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it should be a join because I'm joined. I have it, but it should be a join. I don't know, Jacob. Can you go on to since you're not? Can you go onto the YouTube our YouTube feed? It should just be joined next to the thumbs up and all that stuff. I don't know where it is on mobile, but yeah, it's down there, dude. You would just see, I think, join. Someone in chat could tell you too if they see it and they're not a member here. Yeah, Chris Williams said it is. Okay.
Yeah. On the strategy show, not that I want to turn down super chats, but like we're gonna see that message no matter what. You paid for 4 months worth of channel subscriptions, I think.
Wait, say that again.
Like on this strategy show, we're going to see your message if it's not a super chat. Oh, we appreciate the super chat. Don't get me wrong, but like we would have saw that either way. $20 is going to that would have got you a couple months worth of this subscription.
Yeah, about 7. But thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. I don't want to tell people not to do it.
I think some people do that just because they want to support us anyway. You know, it's kind of a like, hey guys, but yeah, awesome stuff. Thanks, man. Hey, Adam actually, dude, he said, haha, I saw it too, Laffy. He agreed with me. He said less alien-like, but just as dead. Yeah, it's the eyes. It's the eyes. Well, we're gonna have to point him to this part of the show, right?
He's not gonna watch this.
If he knows it's Adam. If he knows we're talking about him, he will 100% jump.
I don't think he wants to listen to us talk negatively about him. We're not praising him. We're talking about how he looks like a school shooter.
Yeah, but well, you said he had the girl in the trunk of his car.
Right. I don't think he's actively trying to hunt that down.
You could just see him like park in the garage, pop the trunk, and just start petting the head of the body. And not good. Not good stuff at all.
No, it's incredible that is not the look of a person that I would have expected to succeed in any way.
Well, he would have succeeded at something. His name would have gone down in history for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. He would have been infamous.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's like the first to FaceTime it or something. But
oh man.
Yeah, he turned out to be a semi-normal guy. Any other thoughts on this slate before we go? We're almost at 100 thumbs up too. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Would you agree with this? Somehow that driver's license picture makes him look taller.
Because he was thinner. That's why.
Okay. Like that doesn't look like the face of a person that's 4'8".
Now you're just going. You're cutting below the belt, which is right around ground level.
Yeah. Yeah.
4'8". Come on. Now that was below the belt.
4'9". Do you realize how low below his belt is? That's so low. That's so low. You win a limbo competition at that height.
Oh man. Any other thoughts on this slate before we go?
Everybody needs to pay attention to Michael Porter Jr. I currently have 45% Christian Braun. That feels awful. He is 12% owned. That's my way to get different today. He might not play. Like Christian Braun's minutes are the ones that go away as the series goes further and further. And the fact that they're coming off of a loss makes me a little nervous about his rotations. But if you don't want to go to a flat 1K Cody Zeller at 23% ownership, may I interest you in some Christian Braun?
All right. Yeah. It's a fun show. We're about to hit 100. We just hit it. Almost got 400 people this morning hanging out with us. Is that true? Austin?
No, not true at all.
Well, she was with that scholar and gentleman, Maddie Healy, before.
Don't know who that is.
Oh, you did. All the like Tim Dillon and everyone was talking about it. It was hilarious. People are all in an uproar because of, I won't get into it. Hey, can we?
I had no idea.
We have a couple of minutes here. I just wanted to, we had a lot of questions about it yesterday and we didn't have time to get to it. There's been a lot of talk on Twitter and I thought you'd be the perfect person to go over this for anybody curious, and especially that we're going to have it for the start of NFL season. We have it for MLB. The MLB Sims tool, for you guys that want to stick around and hear about what this is, that'd be awesome. If not, we appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. But I think a lot of people were curious about how this works and why it's so valuable and kind of revolutionary in the DFS space. Figured there'd be no better person than yourself to actually explain not what it does, but why what it does is so important.
I completely agree. There is no better person than me to be able to do something like this. I tweeted it out. I think this is a sea change in the DFS industry. We're going to be able to mark this date on our calendar as a spot where we started to see things change the same way that we did when projections first came out, when optimizers first came out, when ownership first became a thing. People are asking a lot of questions. They don't totally understand what the product is. And for now, the easiest way to describe it is this. We talk a lot about like our sorting process and when lineups that we're getting to, that it's not even like a perfect example would be us talking about that highly projected lineup and how it might sort differently. In essence, this is becoming like the most sophisticated sorter that you can get because you're taking a pool of lineups, and because we know that players have projections and standard deviations, you don't just immediately look at it and think like, okay, Jimmy Butler gets 50 every single time. It's like, well, for this run, he gets 35, and then this run, he gets 48, and then this run, he gets 62. And you do that over and over and over again, and you add that information up, you start to see which lineups have a little bit of extra volatility, something that could climb to the top and become a lineup that we show that has a positive ROI. Now, with this tool, you had no tie to ROI or any sort of value or return on your investment or your individual lineups. This changes that up completely. You get a full package of the raw data on the back end now. You find out what each one of your lineups are from an ROI perspective. This is going to allow you to immediately just play significantly better lineups than you were ever playing before, because you'll know quickly if you were playing something bad. It's sort of like being able to look behind the curtain for the lineup generator, but now it's in front of the curtain for the Sims tool. Because for the lineup generator, on the back end, we were getting rid of a bunch of lineups that were not worth playing. This is sort of the same process. You can just sort of see the data behind it for each lineup. So when you run this big sim of, call it 2,000 MLB lineups, every single one of those lineups that you've generated now has an expected ROI. So a lineup that projected well might be like a negative 25% ROI. You want to get away from that lineup. You're going to have a lot more potential options that climb to the top. But now that this exists, more people are going to start doing it. More people are going to understand what this process is, because this sim tool has existed on the back end for most of the pros and names that you've seen at the top of contests for a couple years now. And It's a reason that a lot of those people are there.
Just like they had projections. Just like they had projections and ownership and optimizers before they existed in the public market.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And now it's into the public sphere. Look, you're going to see this at our competitors in the future. It's going to have to happen.
It's not free. There is no free trial. I meant it is not cheap. But that's for a reason. It's because it's probably underpriced in the grand scheme.
It will be. Look, I feel comfortable saying this because I think it is a selling point. It is going to be more expensive in the future, and probably considerably so.
Ro KN said it's like SaberSim. SaberSim has some great tools, but this tool does not exist outside of Stochastic.
So he's like 30% right. They are simulating lineups on their back end. They are not presenting the information in the same way. It is a black box at SaberSim. So you're not getting ROI data on the back end after their simulations. Are they simulating those lineups against each other? They are. they are not presenting that data in the same way.
Could be Travis said he shipped since he got it and paid for itself already. It's been out since Monday, so that seems good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check it out if you want. Link is in the description, guys. Link is in chat. Jacob threw it in there. We just got a lot for everybody right now. Whether it's the lineup generator or it's the MLB Sims tool, we will have NFL. We have a lot.
NBA for next October.
NBA for next. Yeah, we got a lot for everybody. So, yeah, it's exciting. It really is exciting. And even on the days you're not winning, this sounds silly almost, but it's like you can see if you're winning, even if you're not winning, in the sense that, you know, in tournaments, you're going to lose no matter how good you are, the large majority of the time. If you're seeing that your simulated ROI, because we have a pre-game sim, a pre-contest sim, and a post-contest sim. If you're seeing that your simulated ROI and your lineups were, in fact, you know, all good lineups, that is what you need to be successful in the long run. Is that a fair way to put it? I'm not good at articulating it, but you can see if you're winning, in essence, even if you're not winning, knowing that you are making the right lineups. It doesn't mean they're going to win every time. You can't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not only putting you in a better position when you get into the contest, but it's also a completely separate tool for acquiring knowledge after the fact to see where you were right, where you were wrong. You get your entire packet of ROI for that particular contest. You can start comparing yourself to other people in that contest. It's not just about the actual dollar amount back, where if you pull something up and say lineup study and you just see the person is at the top, but then you see that, you know, 44 of the 47 150 maxers all lost money. That's not the best way to evaluate that, because you're evaluating actuals. What you really want to evaluate is what your expectation, what everybody's expectation was at lock, the moment everybody had all of the same information. After lock, you have a different amount of information. But at lock, we all have the same stuff. And being able to evaluate yourself against everyone else is where you start to look interesting. Because let's just say that you've got like a 1% expected ROI. I'm just picking a random number here in a contest. But if you pull up that contest in the post-contest simulator, and let's just say that you max that with 50 other people, but you find out that your expected ROI was like 40th of those 50, that's an evaluation tool in and of itself. If you're starting to find out that you're at the bottom of that rung, then your next step is trying to figure out how to be better in terms of choosing the lineups in the pre-contest simulator. Linking these two things together, it's just a complete and utter game changer right now. And it's going to be really crazy for the NFL. It's going to be exceptionally crazy for the NBA side of this one when we start it up in the future. MLB to me is the perfect way to get used to it, just because there's not a lot of like, in general, you've got that final hour to like really play with it. You're not getting a bunch of late news and scratches like you would in the NBA side of it. I look at this now as the biggest change that we could have. And I think it's imperative that you get in early if you have the ability, because this is going to really change. We're going to look back at today a year from now. You're going to see this in two separate places. We're going to add like 100 new features to whatever this ends up being. And it's already awesome.
Link in the description and chat. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with us as always. It's a fun show. Obviously, you got Deeper Dive. You got Live Before Lock tonight. You got Baseball Strategy Show. I don't know if it's Live Before Lock. I'm not sure how many early games there are, but 12 o'clock. None?
Yeah.
On a Wednesday, huh? Or is today's Wednesday? No early game, huh? Okay. Wow. Anyway, we got all that stuff for you coming up. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Follow Josh at Josh Engleman, me at Lafayette_D. Thanks to Jacob for producing this one, and we'll see you guys back here for the next one. Peace.